If there's a sadder story than the one involving Jeremiah Perry, the 15-year-old Toronto District School Board student who drowned in Algonquin Park on a TDSB approved outdoor trip, I can't think of it actually, except it just got a little sadder today. TDSB Executive Director John Malloy had a news conference today to brief reporters on the latest results of the board's own third-party investigation. And what he reported to our public, as he calls it, a nice touch I thought, what he reported is that it wasn't only Jeremiah who couldn't swim, but 14 and maybe 16 other students on that trip who had failed a swim test. Interestingly, and though Mr. Malloy didn't say this directly, the inference is the following, that the teachers who ran the trip either didn't disclose or appeared to have hidden somehow the results of the test, that so many children had failed the swim test and should not have been on the trip, including Jeremiah. We know this because in the beginning, there was this weird apparent conflict that I think people will remember quite vividly, where TDSB spokespeople were saying quite adamantly that the board has this policy that a child, to go on a trip like a trip to Algonquin Park, a child has to be able to do a forward or backward roll into the water, tread water for a minute, and be able to swim unaided 50 meters. And their various spokesmen clearly believed that this was in place, and indeed it was. The problem is that something happened between the test time and the reporting time, I guess, or the results weren't shared. They clearly weren't shared, and Mr. Malloy talked a little bit about that very carefully, because there's still an Ontario Provincial Police investigation as well as a coroner's investigation into Jeremiah's death. But I asked him how he felt in the moment when he realized that in this one rare instance, his trust in his staff appears to have been misplaced, and he said it was devastating and very upsetting and very tragic. So Jeremiah's parents, who always insisted their son and his brother, who was also on the trip, couldn't swim, were absolutely right, and the board, which thought it was right in that those kids had been tested, was wrong. And it appears they were wrong because they were, it's a harsh word, but betrayed perhaps by some of their own staff. I'm Christie Blatchford.